What's up, live viewers? How's everybody doing? All right, we have an interview coming at you. It is a long one. That's right, it's a long one. This young lady and I, we sat down and we had a conversation, and the time just got away from us. I mean, I know I had a blast. I think she had fun too. I think it's going to show in this interview. I think you guys are going to really like it. I found it quite interesting, informative. I learned a lot, and I think I have me a new friend after all this. So here you go, guys. Hit it. What's up, blind viewers? How's everybody doing? I have another interview for you guys today, and I have with me today SKG Explores. What's up, girl? Oh yeah, there she is, the one with the pretty eyes.
Oh, thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a day off here, and I'm loving every second of it.
Day off is always a good day.
It really is.
All right. Well, I'm going to just jump into it, and I'm going to ask you my first question. And it is, where are you originally from? What part of the country are you from?
Well, I was born in Iowa, but I
Wow.
was raised in Wisconsin.
Nice. So you're a northern girl.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. If you can't hear it in my voice, a lot of people hear it right away. Some people don't really notice it, but being out here, I hear how different my accent is.
Wow. I didn't pick up on, I usually pick up on at least the Minnesota, the people that's from Minnesota, they kind of talk like that. But,
Minnesota?
yeah. Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
what were you like as a kid? I mean, were you kind of the same as you are now, or were you a lot different? Were you still kind of, I don't want to say the odd one, but, different or?
Yes, always. I have always been the black sheep of the family, always very different, ever since I can remember. And I always felt growing up, and I don't mean for this to sound really like, oh, poor me, but honestly, I always felt like I never really had my place. Like I never really belonged anywhere, especially when it came to my family. I was always very different. I looked different. I didn't always do what I was supposed to do. I didn't do what everybody else did. But ever since I can remember, I've just been different.
Well, see, I think that's probably why I'm kind of drawn to you a little bit. I'm the same way. I mean, I was always like trying to find that place to fit in. In high school, you got, the jocks, the heads, the preppies, and I wasn't any of that. I was kind of like weird in myself, and I didn't really fit in. I mean, I didn't have problems with a lot of people, but I kind of got along with everybody. But it was like I didn't fit in either. It was kind of weird. So now I know. Now I know why I like you.
Yes, yes.
All right, so you're from up there north, so you guys are right now, you are in New York, is that correct?
Yes, we're in New York.
Working hard, huh?
Yes, that's the only reason why we're in New York is to work. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't working here. No offense to any New Yorkers. It's just not my place.
I hear you. You either love it or you hate it.
Yeah.
So you live in, what do you live in?
We live in a 1968 travel trailer, very small travel trailer.
Small, what, do you pull it with a truck, a van, a car? What is it?
A car. We pull it with my car.
Awesome. So it's,
Yes, that's how small it is.
That's efficient. That's efficient. How long have you been doing that?
Since I would say the very end of January.
The end of January, so about half the year. So yeah, okay, yeah, we're in June, so about 6 months you've been doing this, huh?
Oh my gosh, yeah, it goes by so fast.
All
Yeah,
right.
6 months.
All right, so I guess now the next big question that everybody wants to know is why? Why did you choose this lifestyle?
Why and why not?
Why not?
Let me see here. Now, this isn't, how do I want to say this? This lifestyle isn't something that I had necessarily wanted. It wasn't until I met Blackpigeon. That's when I was kind of envious of his lifestyle, of all the places he was going to, but he was still able to work, the different kinds of things he was seeing, and like even on his videos, it was always very interesting to me. So when I met him, it just kind of worked out. Like, I wouldn't say that it's something that I wanted to do, but the idea of it didn't scare me one bit. So he's kind of what I needed to kind of push me into leaving Wisconsin and to living this life. And it's exactly what I needed. And in my opinion, it happened it couldn't be more perfect time.
Awesome. So you weren't looking for it. You just kind of fell into it, and it suits you then, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Very cool. Now, are you planning on like long-term doing this, or would you like to settle down someplace or even upgrade to something bigger, or what is your future? What are you looking towards?
The good old future. Gosh, it's so hard to say. It's so hard to say because I'll tell you what, some days I really feel like I am living the life and this is something that I could do for the rest of my life. And more importantly, it benefits Elijah in so many ways. And then I have days where I miss having like an actual bathroom. I miss being able to cook a meal. I miss being able to do dishes in a sink. I miss all these little things. And I say to myself, gosh, I can't wait to just like have an apartment or a home, just to be there, for, just to have a place to call home. And then I think about Elijah and how I would like for him to go to school. Homeschooling isn't really anything that I had thought about up until recently, but it's just hard to say. I don't think that this is something that I would want to do full-time for the rest of my life, but I would love to be able to leave for the summer or, to get out at some point.
Right. Well, you're young and you have time. You don't have to make up your mind today, but yeah, at least you have some ideas, and if it suits you for now, it's not a big deal, I don't think. And you just mentioned Elijah. He just had a birthday. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So he will be starting school soon, right? So something you actually do have to start thinking about then.
Yes, definitely.
So you did touch on a few things I did want to ask you about. I was curious about, and I guess we'll start since I started with Elijah. Is it difficult with a little one, traveling around, dragging them around, and not being like rooted down and having friends and all that? Is it rough?
It definitely is rough. Like I said, there's some things that I'm so very grateful for that he's getting to experience at such a young age. But it's not necessarily tough on him or tough for him, because he is who he is. He's a very cool, laid-back, chill kid. And when we first started doing this, he would say, "Mama, where are we going today?" And he was so excited about it, and it got me feeling like, okay, like this is something we can do, and he's learning from it,
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, there's a channel I watch. It's they're called the Freedom Theory. And it's Josh and Kaylee, and they just had a newborn, and they've been full-timing for a little while, and I was like so intrigued with this. I was like, oh man, I got to watch this. I want to see how this changes their journey and how they look at things and everything. So I was real interested in that, and that's why I didn't want to get personal, but I was wondering how it was to have a child along, and when you're always moving and you don't have roots, and I always think of things like when I was young, I went out and I played with the same little kids all the time. I was, I had friends right there, and I was just wondering how some of these kids that, well, you guys are at the carnival, so I'm sure there's other kids around, but some of these other people, it's like, who do they play with? They're around a bunch of adults and, a bunch of retirees in some trailer park,
Yes. Yes.
So you guys got it pretty good. At least you're working, not like some of the YouTubers that we see who have their hand out. You guys are actually working.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something different and new. You're all weird and stuff with a job.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? You're doing it all wrong.
I know. Dang it. Can I start over?
I don't know. Reboot. Now, you mentioned about, wanting to cook and wash dishes in a sink and everything. So where do you do all that stuff? Where do you eat out, or do you cook, or where do you do laundry and all that other stuff?
Okay, well, I'll tell you. I love talking about these things because sometimes as I'm talking about like how we do things, I think to myself, SKG, what are you doing? But I'll tell you. So, Bigot and I shower at Planet Fitness. He goes to the gym there also. I don't always get a chance to go to the gym, but I do shower at Planet Fitness. And I also shower here at the bunkhouses. My boss has 2 bunkhouses out here, and 2 of the single rooms in each of the bunkhouses have a shower connected to it. So I have the key for that shower for when Elijah needs a shower. Sometimes I'll sneak in there too. She doesn't have a problem with it. But so we shower there also. How do I do dishes? I take the dishes into the shower. There's a sink in there. It's just like a bathroom, basically.
Gotcha.
Bathroom without a toilet.
Yeah.
So I do dishes in there. Sometimes I'll just use like a tub with some dish soap and hot water. We get our water. We buy our water, and we have what do you call those things? Like an electric kettle, I believe it's called, to warm up the water.
Okay.
That comes in handy. What else? Cooking. I do cook. I try not to eat out so much because it's very expensive.
Yeah, right.
And I am forever on a budget. So I don't always get to eat out like you see on some channels where they're ordering pizza and they're at the buffet. Yeah, we don't really do that so much. We have a George Foreman grill. That thing comes in handy. We have a rice cooker. We had a crock pot at one point. So we do the damn thing as best as we can,
So what do you have a little fridge or a cooler that you keep food in, or?
A cooler. We use a cooler, and that's another thing that I want to mention is that the whole saving money thing. It's very hard to save money out here because things are expensive when you have to just buy for that day. Because we don't have like a big cooler; it's a tiny cooler, so it can get expensive.
Yeah, I mean, even some of the RVers I see, if they don't have one of those big giant fridges, if they have a smaller fridge, they're like buying food every week. They're going to the grocery store because they don't have any room to put it. So I can see how it can get expensive. And I know that the Planet Fitness is a big popular thing with, especially like a lot of the van dwellers and stuff. They all do that. So
yeah.
That's pretty cool, though, that you got everything all figured. Now, where do you get your power? You said you have crock pots and George Foreman's and all stuff. Do you have a generator? Or?
Yes, we have a generator, but while we are out here with the carnival, depending on where we're at, we don't always stay where the carnival's staying. Sometimes we boondock it at a Walmart or wherever we can find. For those situations, we have a generator. Currently we are where the carnival is, so we are just plugged into their electricity.
Oh, that's cool. That's pretty convenient.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you mentioned Walmarts. I'll ask you real quick about the Walmarts. Now recently it has been, everybody's talking about it. I mean, I'm not out there, I just hear I don't experience it firsthand. So I'll ask you. I hear a lot of people talking about how the Walmarts were the place to go, and now it's more and more no overnight parking, or they're getting really strict and cracking down. Do you see that as you're traveling around, or is it still a good place to go?
I really don't. I don't find that to be the case. I want to say Bigot and I have probably had 2 or 3 situations, different situations where for whatever reason we weren't able to stay at a Walmart, but we didn't wait to find out until we had a knock on the door. There's little, I mean, they have signs posted, but usually if you see like another RV there, usually you're fine. But honestly, like maybe 2 or 3 different occasions, we pulled in and it was just like, no, probably can't park here. And we just went elsewhere. I don't feel like, and maybe it is happening because you know what? It's been so long since we've stayed at a Walmart. It's been probably a couple months. So it might be different now, but from my experience, it was never really a problem. Like I said, 2 or 3 times, and then we just went elsewhere. It wasn't a big deal.
Gotcha. So, I mean, you guys have a little, you kind of answered it all, but, you know, you have the RVers and the van dwellers and everything, and you guys got a little travel trailer. And like the van dwellers, I know they just pull over on a side street or whatever. But I guess you being with the carnival, you can either be there on the site or, like you just said, go to a Walmart. But other than that, do you ever find it hard to find a place to park or stay for a while? Or?
Nope. The only time it was ever difficult is when we were in LA.
Oh.
And that's where it wasn't. There was too many places for people to park, and it was just packed with RVs. I don't know if you've heard about the LA situation.
Yeah.
There's RVs everywhere in LA, and they can be parked in front of somebody's house for as long as they want, and the homeowner can't do anything about it. And they are everywhere, BlindViews. They are everywhere. That's the only time that we had trouble parking, and that's only because we couldn't find parking. But other than that, it really hasn't been an issue. I mean, don't get me wrong, a couple times we've had to drive quite a ways to find somewhere to stay. But no, it hasn't really been too big of an issue.
That's
for
awesome.
Us
that's good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Now, another big thing that I always wonder about is, and especially with you having a youngin', is like healthcare and getting healthcare ever an issue or a worry or a concern? Do you ever think about like if he gets sick and where's he going to go to the doctor and how and all that? Do you worry about that?
I do worry about that, and I've thought about that. Luckily for Elijah, we wouldn't run into. It wouldn't be that big of an issue for him. But for Bigot and myself, yes, it would be. It would definitely be an issue. Right. But I just feel like there's only so much you can do about that. And I feel as though as long as Elijah's okay, then I'm okay. God forbid something happened to us, and I will regret saying this later. But for now, it just is what it is.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, when you get to be an old timer like me, then you got to start worrying about that stuff. You got to worry about, not worry about it, but you have to have it in the back of your mind, like, where am I going to get my prescriptions filled all the time? And what if, you know, right. If I have something that goes wrong, where, you know, because when you get old, shit just starts falling apart and stops working right, and you just got to take care of it. And I always wondered how some of these people, when they're all over the place, especially the state of our healthcare here in the U.S., it's like crazy. So if I'm, you know, if I'm from Pennsylvania and I'm in Wisconsin, I just can't walk into a doctor and say, hey, if I want to pay for it, I can, but insurance isn't going to help me out. So it's always something I always wonder about when I hear people like you guys that travel around, how you deal with all that. Yes,
it's definitely an issue, and Yeah, but yeah, I mean, because it's one of those things where you can't, and especially like how the whole system is set up, you can't just, I don't know, it just doesn't fly. Like, I don't foresee you being able to call your doctor and saying, hey, I need a refill of this. I know I haven't seen you in 6 months, but I'm over here now, and I was over there. You know what I mean? Like, I think it would be very difficult unless you have an amazing doctor. I think that would be really, really tough.
Yes.
To continue to get refills or new prescriptions or whatever it is without actually having to be seen. That would be really, really tough.
Yeah, and that's like the freedom theory that I was just mentioning with a newborn. Well, you know how often you got to take them in for shots and checkups and this and that. And I'm so curious. That's why I keep watching. I'm like, how are they going to deal with all this? Are they going to be in California and all of a sudden go, oh man, we got to run the whole way back to Louisiana to go see the doctor, the pediatrician and stuff? These are the things I wonder about, and that's why I watch some of these channels. Yeah. People think I'm nuts, but hey,
I watch too. Yeah, I want to know how other people do it too, and it's crazy because you think that I'm doing it in a way. I'm still curious to see how other people do it, especially Caravan Carolyn. For some reason, her whole story, her whole situation is very intriguing to me. So I like to know how other people do it. But that's the thing with this lifestyle, is it's not going to be the same for everybody,
right.
You know, and I think it takes a special person to be able to do it and do it the whole way and to love your life and to be happy. And but it's definitely not for everybody. And for situations like that, medical situations or with your doctor, it's just not feasible for some people.
Yeah, right. You're right. So you obviously have a YouTube channel. What got you started into that? What made you go, I'm going to do this?
Blackpigeon.
Yeah?
Blackpigeon.
I don't know. He sounds like he's a bad influence on you. He got you living on the road, doing YouTube. I don't know, man.
That darn bigot. That's the only reason why I ever started a channel, and I will tell you what, I am so glad that I did. I don't have very much content. I used to do exploration videos and stuff like that. And for some reason, it just really wasn't my thing, this whole live streaming thing. I love to live stream. I love to get to know people that are in my live streams. But I was just telling him yesterday, I wish I had some inspiration to do some videos, something different. And I also wish I had the time to do that. But you know what? He makes it work. And if he can do it, I can do it. So I just need to figure it out with this whole YouTube thing.
Well, there you go. Well, you just answered my next question, was going to be why do you only live stream? At least that's what I know you for, is just live streaming. But you answered it.
Yeah, that's why. That's why. It's quick. I can just push a button. Sometimes I'm even in the middle of doing something and I just let me see, let me live stream and see what everybody's up to, or let me go into a live stream. And the other thing with videos is that it's just so hard. It's just so hard sometimes. And I understand that people are so cool with Elijah, because more than likely, if I'm doing a video, you're going to hear Elijah, see Elijah, you're going to see Elijah run past your screen, and people are so cool about it. But sometimes I'm just I just wish I could just go somewhere and do a nice, decent video like BlindViews does, like Blackpigeon, and it never turns out that way. It never does. But I'm not going to give up, BlindViews. I am not going to give up.
Well, just think, one day he'll be a little bit older and he can occupy his time and do his own thing, and then Mom will have all the time in the world to make her YouTube videos.
Yes, I will say, son, it's time for YouTube. Your mother needs to make YouTube videos, sir, and he'll understand. He'll be like, I got you, Ma. I got you.
All right, so who, besides the obvious, of course, do you watch on YouTube?
Oh, you're so funny. Well, of course, BlindViews, and I think I've mentioned that 1,000 times in my live streams. Why I watch your channel, why I love your channel. Blackpigeon, of course. even though we see each other every stinking day and we're around each other a lot, he still is my favorite YouTuber. Love Black Bigot, Lamont at Large, iNegro News, all of his channels I love. Who else do I watch? I watch Caravan Carolyn. I don't watch her all the time, but I am very curious about her life. Just about everything she does. I love to know what she's up to, where she is. I'm a very nosy person, BlindViews. I just sometimes watch people just because I want to know. Not because I even really like them. I just want to know what they're up to. But as far as like, let me see, like van dwellers or full-time RVers, I don't really watch a whole lot. I used to watch Jed and Evie. I no longer watch them. And for no reason other than, I just, you know, kind of bored with it.
They kind of stopped traveling too, so.
Yeah, and it's like I do the same thing, so I kind of just like, but who else do I watch? I watch Camo Dave, of course, and I mainly watch Camo Dave, so I don't have to watch anybody else. At least I'm being honest. Who else do I watch on YouTube? I wish I could go through my like subscriptions and read everybody to you.
Well, that's okay. You gave us a rundown there.
80% of them are not RVers or van dwellers. So.
Gotcha. I think I was saying, yeah, I'm kind of like you. I watch different people for different reasons. Yeah. I watch some just for that, like I said, that soap opera effect that they give me, and then other people I kind of get interested in. You kind of feel like some of these people, you actually know them a little bit, watching them just about every day or so, you know, for a year or more. It's kind of wild being here on YouTube, isn't it?
It is. It's so crazy. It is crazy.
Sorry, I was ripping the vape.
I can hear it.
Now.
I love that sound.
You probably don't have a whole lot of time for fun and extracurricular activities, but do you do anything for fun besides work and play with the kid?
No, not really. I mean, I would like to get out and explore. Like I said, I would like to get out and do that more often. But time is of the essence here. And I simply, like on my days off, like I had yesterday off and today off. Yesterday, I was exhausted. I had to go to the store, get groceries, do that nonsense. Today I have to get ready for this following week.
Man, that sounds like normal life there, going to the grocery store and stuff.
I know, right? Who would have thought, right? It's basically like, you know, like everybody else does, only I'm in a teeny tiny little trailer. But the last time I did something, I took Elijah to the beach. It was probably a couple weeks ago now. That's like the last thing that we did for fun. And I mean, Elijah and I get out quite a bit, but the beach was a big deal to us. That was like a vacation. It felt like a vacation.
Yeah, you shared a little bit of that with us here on YouTube. That was fun.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever crave privacy? Being in that little place with the three of you, do you ever just like, I just need my own space, please, just for 5 minutes? Do you?
I do. And I'll tell you what, I felt very guilty about it. I felt very guilty feeling like I just need some space. I just need to be by myself for a hot second. And it took me a while to be able to tell Bigot, because he likes his space as well. But it took me longer to be able to say to him, like, hey, I need to get out of here. Like, I'm about to go crazy. But that's an understanding that he and I have, that, you know, I mean, we need space. That's normal. You're supposed to feel like that. And especially with our situation, we talked for a very long time. We met, and then a few weeks later, we're on the road together. You know what I mean? And, and I wouldn't recommend it to just anybody. I have no regrets. Don't get me wrong. But, yeah, I mean, we need space. It's a normal feeling.
Yeah,
You
it
need space.
it is normal, and I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Everybody out there in YouTube land, cover your ears. This is just me and her. My wife and I mean, I'm getting where you're coming from. It takes a special couple to
Yeah.
be stuck together like that, and not no one either wind up in the hospital or in jail. I can totally agree. I met my wife at work. We worked together, and then we came home and we were together all day. We went to bed, we woke up, and we went to work. And then after we both left that job, we actually bought a sawmill, a portable sawmill. And she actually ran it, operated it, and I was the human forklift. I was the grunt. But again, we were together 24/7. We were never apart. And now she's home all day. I can't work anymore because I can't see. We're together all day, every day.
Aww.
And like I said, I'm still alive. She's still alive. Nobody has a record.
Your wife.
So it's like, you know, I can totally understand it when you said it takes special people to meet and actually be able to coexist, especially in a small place. At least me, I can run to a different floor in a room and get away. If she's annoying me or I'm annoying her, she can get away from me. But you guys are kind of stuck.
Very stuck. Very stuck.
Now, there's one more question I have to ask.
Yeah.
When you and BB walk into a room, does everybody just stop and melt? Because between the two of you, I think you guys have got the most amazing eyes I've ever seen. So both of you guys are probably like, everybody's like, oh my God, look at these people with their eyes.
Oh. No, we don't really experience any of that. I don't think so anyways.
I'd probably be one of those people that you guys be going, what are you looking at? Because if you two walked into a room and I was there, I would see both of you and those eyes, and I'd be like, oh my God, look, both of them.
Aww. That's very nice of you.
And
Thank you.
It's pretty interesting because when I watched BB's channel, I was like, oh, this guy's kind of strange. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But when I saw the interview with Dave, I was like, whoa, who is that guy? This isn't the guy I see on YouTube. This guy is really down to earth and cool. He was like a totally different person. And it was like, it was refreshing to see him in that light. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I would have to agree with you. It's moments like that because I watched the interview, even though I was right there. I was on the other side of McDonald's, so I watched it, and you're right. It's so refreshing to hear two people have a conversation, and there's definitely something about him. He can be he's absolutely hilarious. In my opinion. He's like that in real life and on YouTube. But he is somebody that I feel like everybody needs to have in their life. He's just very refreshing, and it's good to see somebody say what they mean and mean what they say. And I have a lot to learn from him, that's for sure.
Well, that's cool. All right, girl. Now, the piercings, tattoos, the colored hair, and all that fun stuff. Now, come on, everybody. We know I got metal in my head, and people always talk about it, and I'm covered in tattoos. But is that you? Is it a statement? Is it a rebellion? Does it mean something, or is it just expression? What do you think it is?
That's a very good question. Wow.
BlindViews gets deep.
That's a really good question because looking at it, let me see here. So in the beginning, I feel like it was me just being 18. No, but let me first say that prior to turning 18, like I was that girl that was sitting in art class with a tattoo magazine. I forget what it was called. I think it was called BM. I forget. It was like Body Modification, something or another. And I bought all these magazines, and I'm in art class, and people are already looking at me like a weirdo because I'm absolutely fascinated with body art in general. Okay, so I turned 18 on my 18th birthday. I went and I got my nose pierced. Woohoo! Okay. And then shortly after that, I got my first tattoo. And the guy that did my tattoo, he and I hit it off right away. And I ended up dating him. And the rest, the majority of the tattoos and the piercings that I got during that time period, it's just something that, for whatever reason, made me very, very happy. And it sounds so crazy to say that because I can't really explain it. But there's something about the whole process of getting tattooed, and even pierced for that matter. It was a way for me to get out of my own head a little bit, even if it was for a short period of time. It's something that I look forward to. And don't get me wrong, sometimes, like, there's a couple of tattoos that I have, and I strictly have them because we were bored. And that sounds, I'm embarrassed to say it, you know, but to me, even those tattoos, like, they have a bit of a story. They're funny to me, you know. In fact, I was telling Bigot about one of the tattoos I have. It seems very simple and whatever. There could be a story behind it, but the story behind it is actually one of my most favorite and personal stories to tell. And it's a tattoo. It's probably like this big. It's, you know, but there's a story behind it, and I think that's cool. And it's not. The thing is that you don't walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, what's the story with that one?"
Right.
Because people, let's be honest, people really don't care, right? They're very if a tattoo is visually appealing, then that's just what it is, and they might say, "Hey, I like your tattoo," whatever. But very rarely does somebody ask you, "Hey, what's the story behind that?" or "Why do you have that?" or "What is that?" You know? I love tattoos, and I've always loved tattoos, and I will probably always have tattoos. I mean, I don't plan on removing any of the tattoos that I have, but who knows? I may be covered someday, and that'll be that. I'll be the tattooed granny.
There you go. I was in an elevator one time, and an older lady walked on, and she just looked me up and down and said, "What? You couldn't find any paper?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's funny."
Right?
I thought that was hilarious, but that was funny. Now, back when I was young, only bikers and outlaws had tattoos and piercings and all that stuff. But now it's more common. I think just about everybody has a tattoo. Do you get any kind of looks or people going, huh? Or is it just commonplace now and they don't even give it a second glance?
I do, but the only reason why I do is because I have a tattoo on my elbow. And it's not that I have anything else on my arm. It's just strictly a tattoo on my elbow. And I think for a lot of people, they notice that more than if it was like an entire sleeve.
Yeah, that's true.
I get a lot of people that are just kind of surprised because, especially how old was I when I got it? I think I was 19. I was pretty young still. And it wasn't a very like feminine place to get a tattoo, even though it's a feminine tattoo. But that's really the only time I get a lot of looks or I feel like people are looking, or because I mean it's very obvious to tell where they're looking. And I have my feet tattooed as well, and I think that's very noticeable too, so people have a tendency to, you know, kind of stare. But
yeah, that's probably more one of those, ooh, that must have hurt things. I know that's what I think of when it's like when I see someone with their feet tattooed, I'm like, that one must have hurt.
Yes, and it did. It did. If they tell you that it didn't hurt, they are lying.
I tell everyone that. Everyone says, you got all them tattoos, did it hurt? I'm like, yes. And I say the same thing. Anybody that says no, they're lying to your ass. Every single one of mine hurt. Some hurt more than others, but yeah, they all hurt.
Yes. Very painful. It's not a pleasant experience, but I think that's the beauty behind it as well. Because what are you going to do? Tell them to stop?
Right.
You know, like halfway through the outline, are you going to say, okay, stop, I can't do it anymore? Absolutely not. Even the biggest baby with zero pain tolerance is not going to tell that tattoo artist to stop, because they know. They already know what's happening. They know the process, and they want to see the end result. And that's just that. I think it's a very beautiful thing.
Now, are you into art or just tattoos, or is art part of your passion?
I love art. I love art. That's really the only reason why I was able to graduate high school, is because I had a fantastic guidance counselor who made it possible for me to have art, different art classes, all day throughout my senior year. Otherwise, I wasn't going to graduate. I wasn't a very good student, but when I was in the art department, I was gold. I felt like I lived there. It was cool. I love photography. I would say photography is my favorite. It's been a very long time since I've done anything with photography. I love to paint as well. I'm not really into like realistic like portraits or anything like that. I like abstract. I like to just sit down. Gosh, it's been so long talking about it. It feels like it's been forever, like it's some sort of past memory. But yeah, that was one of my favorite things to do, was just sit down and paint whatever I felt like painting on whatever. I didn't always use canvas. I was painting rocks for a while. I was painting rocks and leaving them everywhere for people to find.
That's awesome.
Yeah, what else do I love?
Well, hopefully I've inspired you to get those creative juices flowing again and get back at doing something creative. You
have, for sure. I was actually thinking about trying to get like a little something set up in the trailer. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but the thing is that I don't always have to do something massive. I can stick to like tiny things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Tiny brushes with a small little palette, and just to do what I can. But yeah, I've missed it. I've missed doing art so much. I think that's another reason why I miss having a home, because I've always had some sort of studio everywhere that I've lived, and I miss that very, very much. But like I said, I can always get back into it. It's just a matter of actually doing it and making it work.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I consider myself a creative person. I'm not a guitar player. I'm not a guitarist or anything, but I like to play guitar. I like to draw. Why I do my videos the way I do is I like to sit down and edit and put things together and, and create. So it's just, that's why I'm not a point and shoot upload guy, because I like the creative process. And right. I like to make shit, not do shit. I like to make shit.
Yes. I can totally see that. Your videos are so good, even your live streams. And I don't even know how you go about doing any of that, and I don't think it's something that I could even understand. But I hope you know that it doesn't go unnoticed. Like people see that, and I think that's why so many people watch, is because it's like a show. You know what I mean? Even if it is just a live stream, every video you do is like a show, and I absolutely love that, and I definitely wish I was that creative. But yeah, your videos are one of a kind, BlindViews. The sound, the sound quality, even it's fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic.
Well, thank you. Tell me more.
You're welcome.
No, it's just the live streams.
Though, I say you have to watch BlindViews. You just have to, and it's like you can't tell somebody, oh, this is why you should watch this person, because with you, they just need to watch one video, in my opinion, anyway.
Well, that's awesome. I appreciate it. I mean, the live stream is like, I like it because it's point and shoot. It's the closest thing that I do to the point and shoot. There's no effort. I just hit a button, start, and I just roll with it, and it's all just me. So I'm like, okay, how can I make this different than everybody walking around with their iPhones, So that's why I do mine the way I do in my little studio with my little things and all the little shit that I add. And because I never did like to be like everybody else. We talked about this a little bit before, not on here, but I don't like cookie cutter people. That's why I was drawn to you also. You're not like, you know, look at her, oh, she's the little blonde, looks like everybody else that I see, or, you know, I like people that whether I like what they look like or what they represent or not, as long as they're doing them with no regrets and no apologies, that's what I like. I love people that are, hey, this is me, like me or don't, I don't care, I'm being me. And that's what I appreciate.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
That's awesome. Well, I think I have all my questions. I have like a little standardized questions that I ask everybody at the very end. Just these little silly questions. And so unless you have anything that you would like to add or ask me even before I ask these quick little questions, and then we'll wrap it up.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, then, the first one is favorite band or song, either which one.
Oh, I won't be able to do my favorite song, and I can't tell you one band. But what I can do is, I can do two, and they're very different from each other. But these two bands are very important to me, and they have been for a very long time. So number one would be Dave Matthews Band.
Okay.
And number two, and this is in no, particular order. These are just the two I'm choosing. And the second one would be Tool. Wow. Yeah.
You are right. Very different. Very different.
They are very different. But it's just one of those things. They I don't know, it's part of my story. You know what I mean?
That's right. You can't help what touches you or reaches you, or you can't help that kind of stuff. I get it. Yeah. Do you have a favorite movie? That go-to movie that's like, oh man, I could watch that a bazillion more times. I'm not really a movie person. I'm not really a movie person, but you know what? The first movie that comes to me would be Peter Pan, and that's probably because that was a favorite of mine when I was little. There you go.
So I'm just going to stick with the oldie but goodie Peter Pan.
There you go. All right. Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Beach. City or country?
Country.
Country.
Country, country, country.
If you could go anywhere at all on this planet, where would you go?
Thailand.
Thailand. Cool. All right. All right. One person, dead or alive. Who and why? That you could spend a day with or whatever, just one person.
I'm going to say my dad's dad, my grandpa. I never met him. He actually passed away when he was very, very young. I think he was probably 42 years old when he passed away. But he is the last person before me to have blue eyes. That's where I get my blue eyes from, and I would just love to sit and talk with him. Never met him. I don't even think my mom got a chance to meet him. But yeah, that's I would definitely want to spend an entire day with him.
That's a very good answer. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. If you could change anything about yourself, it doesn't have to be looks or anything, but if you could change anything about yourself, one thing, what would it be?
I'm gonna have to say I would want to be less. How do I want to say this? I would want to be a little bit more selfish. I'm a very selfless person. I'm always doing things for other people or with other people in mind. And I think it's okay to do things for yourself once in a while. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. I think if I could be a little bit selfish, I think that would do wonders for me, because I wouldn't always feel guilty about not being able to do something for somebody, or I wouldn't feel like I'm going insane because I need to take time for myself, but I refuse to because,
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. We all need some time for ourselves. I always say, you can't take care of anyone else until you take care of yourself first.
And I would love to procrastinate less as well. I have a tendency to procrastinate, and I also have a tendency to be late.
Oh, girl.
There's a lot of things that I would like to change.
I said one. Don't start giving me a list now.
That's what happens with questions like that. You sit and you just like marinate in your own thoughts, like, oh, this and this and this.
The procrastination thing, I'm with you on that, girl. I'm like, I should do this. It'll still be there. I'll do it later. But the one thing I do hate is late people. If I say meet me at, I'm usually there 5 minutes early. So if your ass is 1 minute late, I'm pissed. Yes. I hate that.
And the thing is, I don't like being late. Being late to me will ruin my entire day. But in my mind, I know that that's just how things happen with me. Is I always end up being a little bit late. If not late, I'm definitely rushed, no matter what. And Bigots, just like you are, he says if I'm not 5 minutes early, I'm already late. You know, he says things like that to me, and I try really, really hard. But it's something that I hate. I hate it so much, and it's like, it seems like such an easy thing to fix. Like, oh, just wake up earlier, just leave earlier, just do this, just do that, and it's like never ending with me. It's never ending.
I don't. For some reason, I feel so offended, and I just think it's so rude when someone makes you wait. Yeah. I'll meet you at the restaurant at 4, and it's 4:30. I'm sitting there waiting, drinking water, eating bread, waiting for your ass. That shit, just, I feel so offended. I really do.
Yeah. And at least you could say, like, okay, so if you're going to meet them at 4, if you're feeling a little bit iffy at like 3:15, you could like call or send a text.
Exactly.
Saying, like, hey, just to let you know, I've got this going on in this. I might be a little bit late. I think that's a lot better than just, you know.
I have a brother-in-law that anytime I meet him, if I want to meet him at 6, I tell him, meet me here at 4:30.
That's what people do with me. That's me. That's me.
Oh. All right. One food left. You can only eat one thing for the rest of your life.
It's actually 2 things, but I eat them together. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Golden delicious apples with all natural peanut butter.
That's woo. See me?
It's so good.
Pizza. Pizza. I could live on pizza. I'd be big as a house, but pizza.
I just love food in general. Good grief.
Yeah. All right, last one. It's a biggie.
Okay.
It's a biggie. Do you have a girl crush?
A girl crush?
Yeah, like, you know, some movie star or singer or something that you just look at and go, if I was, she would be the one.
Yes, except she's a YouTuber.
Okay.
And you have to check her out because I think you will totally understand how and why I have a girl crush on this broad. Name on YouTube is Victoria X Rave.
Victoria?
Yes.
X Ray?
Rave.
Rave.
Like rave. Yeah. RAVE. Yes.
Okay.
She is beautiful.
All right.
Beautiful.
I will check her out then.
Yes, and you will understand. Of all people, I think you'll understand.
Well, that's my silly little questions that I think helps people go, so that's what she's all about. I think it kind of squishes everything together so we can go, okay, now we have a better idea of what she's about.
Yes.
Now, before I go,
okay,
is there anything that you would want everyone to know about you that you don't think they do? Something that would, like, say, you know, they look at me and they would think this, but I am boof. Is there anything like that, or?
I don't think so. I think I've been
you're a pretty open person.
Yeah, I think I've been pretty transparent, and I think that when I, like, you know, because I'll get some questions on my live streams or in some comments, and I just don't touch those. I think when people see that I don't talk about certain things, it's for a reason, and it's a very good reason, because other than that, I'm like an open book, or I like to think I am. But yeah, I think I've been pretty transparent anyway.
I think you have too, and I think this was an awesome interview, and I want to thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me and do this. I really do appreciate it.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me. It's an absolute honor.
Honor. Oh, man, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. You said you were a fangirl. You know how silly I was? I made sure I had deodorant and everything on for this, and you can't see or hear me or smell me or anything. I mean, I was all, I'm like, man, I got to put deodorant on. See how goofy I am?
You are so funny. Oh, yes.
All right, everybody, I want to thank everybody for watching, taking the time to come check us out. And this is BlindViews and SKG, and thanks for watching. And you know what? That's the way we see it.
Yes.
What we do here is go back.
Oh.